Hey there, just a heads up, this episode of the Judo Science Podcast was created with help from AI. Some of the voices you'll hear are synthetic, but the ideas come from real research and real judo.
Picture this for a second. You're backstage, the lights are hot, the crowd is a muffled roar through concrete, and you're about to fight someone who has spent months training just to throw you onto your back. It's the peak of combat judo, MMA, wrestling. We see these athletes as, gladiators. But what if their most dangerous fight didn't happen in the ring at all?
What if it happened 24 hours earlier in a hotel bathroom?
And the opponent wasn't a person, it was a digital scale. That's the terrifying reality we're unpacking today. Welcome to the deep dive.
We're looking at rapid weight loss in combat sports. And the core belief is that if I can starve and dehydrate myself to fit into a lower weight class, I'll be the bigger, stronger fighter.
It's the ultimate hack, right? Game the system.
That's the theory. But our stack of sources today, studies on judokas, research on kidney function, performance analysis, it all asks a different question.
Does making weight actually mean losing the fight before it even starts? We're going to look at the brain, the muscles, and the organs to find out.
And I think the answers are going to surprise a lot of people.
So let's start with just the scale of this, because I think we assume this is something only the top 1% of UFC fighters do, for millions of dollars.
Right.
But this prevalence survey we have on judo competitors, the numbers, well, they just blew my mind.
They are absolutely staggering. The study basically says that if you're watching a judo match and the athletes aren't heavyweights, it is almost guaranteed they have cut weight to be there.
Give us the number. Because almost guaranteed sounds like an exaggeration until you see it.
89%.
89.
And it's not like a one-time thing. 82% of them do it regularly. It's just standard procedure.
Yeah.
As common as tying your belt.
Okay, but we should define cutting weight. Because if I skip lunch, I've technically cut weight. We're not talking about skipping dessert here, are we?
Oh, not even close. The survey looked at the methods, and this is where it gets pretty visceral.
Yeah.
You've got athletes training in rubber or plastic suits.
The old trash bag workout. I've seen that in gyms.
Exactly. They're sealing their bodies to force extreme sweating. It's incredibly dangerous. But the one that really gets me is spitting.
I read that and had to reread it. Nearly half of them. Spitting.
Yes. 46.9% reported using spitting. You literally sit with a cup and just force yourself to generate saliva and spit it out to shave off grams of fluid.
That is just, it's desperate. You're drying out your mouth, your throat, just to move a digital number.
And it gets darker. The survey found about 20% use laxatives, 16% use diuretics water pills.
Wow.
And around 6.5% admitted to vomiting.
Wait a second. If you see those behaviors in any other context, laxatives, vomiting, starvation, that's an eating disorder.
Without a doubt. But in combat sports, it's called professionalism. It's so normalized that if you don't do it, you're the one who's not taking it seriously.
So who's telling them to do this? It can't be doctors, right?
Absolutely not. Doctors are usually screaming for them to stop. The survey shows the main influencers are coaches, the sensei, and other judokas.
So it's a culture thing. I did it, so you have to do it.
It's basically a hazing ritual disguised as strategy. And because it's cultural, it starts so young. The average age these athletes start cutting weight, 12.6 years old.
12. A 12-year-old is being taught how to dehydrate themselves.
And the data shows the earlier you start, the more aggressive your methods become later on. You're normalizing body abuse before they're even old enough to drive.
Okay, so everyone does it, the methods are extreme, and they start as kids. The justification is always, I need to be stronger, I need the size advantage. But this is where our deep dive takes a hard turn, because we have a study here from Brazil that asks a different question. Not, are you stronger, but are you smarter?
And this is the whole pivot point. Judo, MMA, these are not brute force sports. They're open skill sports. You have to react.
It's like high-speed chess with your body.
Exactly. So this study looked at decision-making. They took two groups of judokas. One group cut 5% of their body mass in 2 weeks. A pretty standard cut.
And the other group?
The control group just trained normally. Then they ran them through simulated fights and scored their decisions.
And you'd think, maybe the cutters are sharper, or at least the same.
That's what the gym logic says.
Yeah.
But the science said the opposite. The group that didn't cut weight, their decision-making scores improved.
Well, yeah, they spent 2 weeks practicing judo. They got better.
Of course. But the weight loss group, they stagnated. No improvement at all. The dehydration effectively canceled out all their learning.
So the body is there, but the brain is, what, lagging?
Lagging is the perfect word. The mechanism is fascinating. We're talking about the telencephalon.
Okay, break that down.
It's the biggest part of the brain. It handles the high-level stuff decision-making, sensory processing. Dehydration seems to reduce blood flow right to that area.
So you're pinching the fuel line to your strategy center.
Exactly. And this is key. It also slows down the conduction velocity of your nerve impulses.
Wait, so the actual electrical signal from your eye saying, I see an opening, to your hand saying, grab the collar, that signal literally moves slower.
It moves slower. Your body's internal internet connection has high ping.
That is terrifying in a fight, a sport decided by milliseconds.
You're reacting to things that have already happened. You see an opening, but by the time you move, it's already closed. You're fighting a ghost.
I can just hear the person yelling at their phone now, saying, okay, fine, maybe I'm a little slower mentally, but if I get my hands on you, I'm stronger. Let's talk about the muscles.
Right, the supposed advantage. This is where we look at the performance capacity study. It compared athletes with high weight loss over 3% versus low weight loss.
And for judo, grip strength is everything. No grip, no throw.
And that's the bad news. The high weight reduction group showed a significant decrease in isometric strength. That's your holding power, your grip.
So let's get this straight. You've compromised your brain's processing speed and your hand's ability to hold on. This sounds like a terrible trade-off.
It is, but biology is messy. And the study did find one weird anomaly.
The reaction time thing? This part confused me.
Yes. For one specific test, their simple reaction time actually improved.
How does that work? How can your nerve impulses be slower, but your reaction time faster?
It seems like a contradiction, right? But you have to separate reaction from decision. The body is stressed, it's in fight or flight mode, it's jittery.
So you twitch faster, like a startled animal.
Exactly. You twitch faster. But can you tell if the opponent is faking a move? No. You become a fast twitch idiot.
A fast twitch idiot? That should be on a t-shirt.
And that's the danger. You react instantly to a feint and put yourself in a worse position because you didn't have the brain power to analyze it.
And what about explosive power? A jump?
That wasn't really affected. You can still jump high, you just might not know when to jump, and you might not be able to grab the person because your grip is shot.
It's a picture of a broken machine. But we have to go deeper than performance. Winning or losing is one thing. We have a review here that focuses on the kidneys, and this is where the fun stopped for me.
It should. We're not talking about losing a medal here, we're talking about permanent organ damage. The review looked at biomarkers, creatinine and blood urea nitrogen, or BUN.
Which are the things doctors check to see if your kidneys are failing?
Correct. They are the standard markers for acute kidney injury. And rapid weight loss causes them to spike significantly.
What's happening inside the body to cause that?
Well, think of your kidneys as a filter. They need fluid pressure to work. When you dehydrate, that pressure drops. The blood gets thicker, sludgier, the filter gets clogged. Toxins that should be flushed out are staying in your blood.
The sources had a case study on an MMA fighter that just brings this all home. Can you walk us through that?
He was an elite male athlete. Over 8 weeks, he lost 18.1% of his body mass.
Let's just pause there. 18%? That's like cutting off a limb.
It's massive. And when they measured his serum creatinine, it was at 177.
And normal is, what, under 100?
Usually well under 100. 177 is consistent with acute kidney injury. For that period of time, his kidneys were essentially in a state of failure.
And then he rehydrates and feels fine a few days later.
And that's the trap. He feels fine. But the kidney remembers. The review suggests a clear link between these repeated acute injuries, and some guys do this 10 times a year, and chronic kidney disease later in life.
So you retire at 30 with a belt, and you're on dialysis by 40.
It's a very real risk. You're borrowing health from your future self to pay for a weight class today.
Okay, so this practice makes you slower cognitively, weaker in your grip, and it destroys your kidneys. And still, everyone does it. It feels like a prisoner's dilemma.
That's the culture trap. If he's doing it, I have to do it. But there's some signs of change. We have guidance from British Judo in our stack, and reading it felt like sanity finally entered the room.
It was so refreshing. What are they telling the young athletes?
For anyone under 18, the advice is simple. Do not cut weight, period. Compete at your natural weight.
Which sounds great, but how do you sell that to a kid who wants to win?
With the 2% rule. They have evidence showing that if a youth athlete loses more than 2% of their body weight, they face immediate negative health consequences. It stunts growth, messes with hormones.
And, based on what we just said, it probably makes them a worse fighter anyway.
Exactly. They're trying to shift the focus from weight to skill, and they're also talking about deterrence, like random weight checks.
I loved this idea. Explain it.
So you weigh in the day before, then you have 24 hours to balloon back up. They're proposing checking weight again right before the fight. If you're, say, 5% heavier than you were at the weigh-in,
It proves you cut too much.
you get penalized, maybe disqualified, maybe forced to move up a weight class. It removes the incentive to do these dangerous cuts.
That seems like the only way to break the cycle. You have to change the rules.
It's a start, but the paradox remains. Our sources show that elite athletes cut more aggressively than non-elites. So the young kids look up to their heroes on Instagram, sweating in plastic suits, and think, that's what it takes to be a champion.
Right. And that champion is likely winning despite the weight cut, not because of it.
Imagine how good they'd be if their brain was fully hydrated.
So what's the big lesson here? For someone just watching fights on a Saturday or interested in human performance?
I think the lesson is that physiology doesn't care about tradition. You can have 100 years of coaches saying, toughen up, but your kidneys and your brain cells operate on biological laws. You can't cheat biology.
You just postpone the payment, you get into the lower weight class, but you arrive leaving your best self, your brain, your grip back in the sauna.
Exactly. And the whole practice relies on anecdotal evidence. It worked for him, and ignores all the people it didn't work for.
It makes you question the whole system. Weight classes exist for fairness, but if getting there damages the athlete and hurts their performance, is the system itself broken?
That's the provocative thought, isn't it? If we really cared about fairness and health, should we even be measuring just weight?
What's the alternative?
Hydration testing. The technology exists. Imagine if, before they looked at the number on the scale, they tested your hydration. If you show up dehydrated, you don't fight.
That would change the entire sport overnight.
Instantly. No more plastic suits, no more saunas. You would have to fight at your natural, healthy weight.
And we'd probably see better fights.
Much better. More action, better decisions. The athletes' brains would actually be fully online.
It's a compelling idea, something to think about the next time you see a weigh-in. And for everyone listening, fighter or not, please go drink a glass of water. Your brain will thank you.
Stay healthy.
Next time on the Judo Science Podcast, episode 39, Injuries Recap. What we've learned so far, episodes 30 to 38.